There's a moment in everyone's journey where nothing seems to move. You've done the work, set the intention, visualized the outcome, and yet silence. No signs, no progress, just a strange pause that makes you question everything. But what if that pause isn't failure? What if it's the most important part of the process? Because right before everything you desire shows up, there is a test, and most people don't even realize they're in it. Before anything meaningful manifests in your life, there is often an invisible moment where your certainty is challenged. It's not a test that shows up clearly or announces itself. Instead, it appears as doubt, delay, or contradiction. You might have been feeling aligned, confident, and deeply connected to your vision, and suddenly circumstances begin to suggest the opposite. Opportunities seem to slow down, results don't match your expectations, and your mind starts asking questions that weaken your belief. This is where most people unconsciously shift from certainty to hesitation. Certainty is not just saying, I believe when things are easy. It is the ability to remain internally stable when everything external feels uncertain. The test exists to separate surface level desire from deep, unwavering conviction. If your belief depends on immediate feedback, then it is fragile. But if your belief stays firm even when there is no visible progress, it becomes powerful. In that state, you are no longer reacting to reality. You are shaping it. This moment requires you to trust what you cannot yet see. It asks you to hold your vision without needing validation, to feel as though it is already unfolding even when there is no evidence. Your energy either contracts into doubt or expands into trust, and that shift determines what happens next. The universe responds to that internal decision. Not the words you repeat, not the actions you force, but the quiet certainty you carry within when no one else can confirm it. What feels like a delay can be one of the most misunderstood parts of the manifestation process. When something doesn't happen on your expected timeline, the mind quickly interprets it as rejection or failure. You begin to question whether you did something wrong, whether you missed an opportunity, or whether what you desire is even meant for you. But in reality, a delay is often a form of preparation, not denial. It is a space where alignment is being completed behind the scenes, even if you cannot yet perceive it. There are elements coming together that you may not be aware of: circumstances, people, timing, and even your own internal readiness. If something arrived before you were fully aligned with it, you might not be able to sustain it or fully receive it. So what feels like waiting is actually a refining process. It's where your patience deepens, your clarity strengthens, and your emotional stability is tested and expanded. The danger is not in the delay itself, but in how you respond to it. If you interpret it as denial, your energy shifts into frustration, doubt, and resistance. That state pushes you out of alignment with what you want. But if you understand that the delay has a purpose, you remain steady. You continue to trust, to show up, and to hold your vision without forcing outcomes. In that space, you stop measuring progress by immediate results and start recognizing growth in who you are becoming. The delay becomes meaningful rather than painful, and instead of pulling you away from your manifestation, it actually positions you perfectly to receive it at the right moment. Emotional mastery is the silent gate that determines whether your manifestation moves closer or slips further away. It's not your words, your plans, or even your intentions that hold the most power. It's how you manage your internal state when things don't go as expected. Anyone can feel positive when life is flowing smoothly, but the real challenge begins when uncertainty, disappointment, or fear enters the picture. In those moments, your emotions either anchor you in alignment or pull you into resistance. When something triggers frustration or doubt, most people react automatically. They allow their emotions to dictate their thoughts, and those thoughts begin to shape a reality that reflects instability rather than clarity. Emotional mastery means creating a space between what happens to you and how you respond to it. Instead of being controlled by temporary feelings, you become aware of them without letting them define your state. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It means feeling fully, but choosing consciously. You acknowledge the discomfort, yet you don't allow it to shift your belief or your direction. In doing so, you maintain a steady frequency that continues to align with what you desire. Your power comes from consistency in your inner world, not perfection. As you develop this control, external situations lose their ability to shake you. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with intention. That stability creates a strong foundation where manifestation can occur naturally. Because your energy is no longer scattered or contradictory. You become centered, grounded, and clear, and in that state, your reality begins to reflect the same level of coherence and control. Detachment is often misunderstood as giving up or not caring, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful states you can reach in the manifestation process. When you are attached, you are constantly looking for signs, checking for progress, and seeking reassurance that what you want is coming. This creates a subtle sense of lack because your focus is on the absence of what you desire rather than its presence. The more you chase, the more you reinforce the feeling that it is not yet yours. Detachment shifts that entire dynamic. It is the moment you release the need to control how and when things happen. You still hold the vision clearly, but you no longer depend on immediate outcomes to feel secure. Instead of chasing the result, you align with the feeling of already having it. This creates a sense of ease and completeness within you, which removes resistance and allows things to flow naturally. When you are detached, your energy becomes calm and grounded. You are no longer sending mixed signals of desire and desperation at the same time. There is a quiet confidence that replaces urgency, and that confidence is what makes you magnetic. You stop forcing actions out of fear and start making choices from a place of clarity and trust. This state allows the process to unfold without interference. You become open to receiving in ways you didn't expect because you are no longer fixated on a specific path or outcome. In that openness, opportunities can reach you more easily, and your manifestation can take shape without resistance, arriving in a way that feels natural and fully aligned. Faith over evidence is the final and most subtle test in the manifestation process. It is easy to believe when you can see progress, when there are signs confirming that things are moving in your favor. But real faith begins when there is no visible proof, when your external reality shows you nothing that supports your vision. In that space, your mind searches for reassurance, trying to make sense of the absence, often leading you into doubt. This is where most people unconsciously shift their energy and disconnect from what they were building. Faith is not based on what is already present. It is rooted in what you choose to hold as true, regardless of circumstances. It is an internal decision to trust the process even when logic cannot justify it. When you rely only on evidence, your belief becomes reactive. It rises when things go well and falls when they don't. But when you operate from faith, your belief becomes stable and independent of external conditions. This requires you to see beyond the current moment and stay connected to a deeper knowing. You continue to think, feel, and act as if what you desire is already unfolding, even when nothing around you reflects it yet. This consistency sends a clear and powerful signal, one that is not interrupted by fear or uncertainty. In this state, you are no longer waiting for reality to convince you. Instead, your inner conviction begins to shape what you experience. You become aligned with a future that has not yet appeared, and that alignment is what allows it to materialize in your physical world.